My name is Rishi Jaitly. I lead the Knight Foundation's work across Detroit. I'm also co-founder of Michigan Core and co-founder of Kiva Detroit. What I want to do today is just talk about three things briefly. I want to talk about dreams, I want to talk about ambition, and I want to talk about innovation. I came up with that on my notes app on my iPhone while sitting there, so the slides aren't organized like that. But I want to talk about dreams because I know I believe every person on the planet has dreams, and I think if there's one thing that's self-evident from this session is that in Detroit you can make your dreams come true and all that. But I want to talk about dreams. I want to talk about ambition because you wouldn't have gotten into Ross if you weren't an ambitious person who wanted to achieve big things, not just in Detroit, not just in the Midwest, but around the country. I want to talk about ambition. And I want to talk about innovation. You wouldn't be at this conference if you weren't chasing innovation too. So you're not just chasing dreams, you're not just chasing a sense of doing good, but all of you I know are chasing ambition and innovation. And my message here is that in Detroit, all three of those things are really coming together. And I'll tell you a little bit first about my dream and my story. I just get a kick out of seeing people move through that transition towards empowerment. And when I talk about dreams, I'm talking about dreams that transcend professional and personal stuff. What really is your dream? And for me, it's these three things. I love seeing people empowered. When I talk about technology, I mean not just the web, but just new systems of doing things. And then leadership. I get a kick out of people leading. And as all the presenters have kind of implied throughout, Detroit is a city where you can bring your dream together with the city itself. At Knight Foundation, what we're particularly interested in is average Detroiter leadership. It would be easy to leave today's conference and see all these presenters and just assume that it's super easy for Detroiters to be doers and we're all just doers and stuff like that. But there's a big city over there, and what we invest in across the city are opportunities to not leave to chance any one Detroiter's ability to leave, whether she's a mom or whether it's a student. We're really interested in opportunities for average people to lead in their own city. If there's anything that we've learned in the city these last couple of months is the importance of leadership, and we pay special attention to leadership opportunities that are directed at young people and creative people. Real quick, my story, I'm not from Detroit. I grew up in New York City. I spent most of my career in social change on the two coasts that a lot of you are about to move to. I spent most of my career at Google. I was doing public affairs for our CEO, policy advocacy. I was one of the founding members of the Google.org philanthropy team, lived in India for a couple of years doing policy advocacy in government. And like a lot of people I've learned here, I married someone from Michigan. She's here actually, but a lot of people in Detroit have told me that it's their spouses that brought them here, and maybe there's a business idea there as well. But I came to Detroit to pursue what I imagined was a career in innovation and ambition. And my wife and I started something called Michigan Core, which is and aspires to be a social network for Michiganders, making it easy for Michigan people here and everywhere to connect with one another on change. We've got entrepreneurs who found VCs in San Francisco. We've had private equity folks find bankers they want to do deals with. We've had young kids start clubs at their schools where they're generating ideas for change. The mishmash of activity that is yielded by a social network, we've seen happen. Along the way, I was recruited by the Knight Foundation to lead their work here in Detroit. But before that, we had this idea, literally about a year ago, was, a lot of people around this state, particularly around the city in Detroit, know about the economy. It's economic renewal, economic renewal, economic renewal. But why is the whole economic revitalization scene organized so vertically? Why don't we what if we made it easy for everybody to participate and lean in? Because when you give average folks an opportunity to lean in and participate in something, you end up yielding collision and community in powerful ways that might then yield the next Google. While I was at Google, I got to know some of the founders of Kiva, and we gave them a call and said, hey, have you thought about America? And they said, well, not really. And we started pitching them hardcore and said, you guys got to really think about this this country, but this city in particular, because people are already helping one another build businesses. And little did we know that that long conversation would turn into Kiva Detroit. And Kiva Detroit, more than anything else, it's not a website, it's not kind of where you make loans, but it's a citizen network. Many of the members of the network are here. It's literally a citizen network of people out there sourcing small businesses, coaching small businesses, getting them online, lending to them, and championing them as loyal customers and more. We just had a landscaping business up a couple weeks ago, which is really exciting. Like with any initiative, you do something interesting, and President Clinton celebrated us as the first, at his first CGI America conference. Again, an opportunity. Detroit matters to the world, and opportunities to innovate here in this city, in this part of the state, are recognized globally and position you in your own careers, because you guys have ambitions too, to be leaders not only in the city, but around the country. And it's just an important point, and a lot of you are at Ross because I know that's what you're chasing. I've also, through my work with Knight, led something called Be Me, which is a social network for black males across the city, but it's a social network that you get in. You don't sign up with your email address. The way to get into the social network is to share your story of leadership. And we've had 1,200 people sign up, and it's a network where once you're in, you connect with other like-minded individuals, from Jalen Rose to a 10-year-old, and you get access to more resources across the city from other foundations and more. We're investing at Knight Foundation in an initiative called Detroit for Detroit, which is mobilizing a lot of average citizens to take on projects on behalf of nonprofits. We're a supporter of Hatch, which you heard about earlier today. We've invested in Code for America, which is a new Teach for America-ish organization that's bringing engineers from around the country, from Facebook and Google, and telling them to spend a year or two in city halls across the city to build technology that makes it easy for people to connect with government. We're investors in something called Open Technology Detroit, through which citizens in Detroit are building Wi-Fi, mesh Wi-Fi networks in a couple of neighborhoods in the city of Detroit. Investor in Detroit Harmony, which is an effort to bring young people from a variety of ethnicities together to invest in organizations they see as the part of the future of Detroit. Supported the Roosevelt Park Revival mentoring program. This is pretty cool. Community Planet is a new online game based in Boston, and we're helping them connect with the Detroit Works Project so that initiative in the city can be more fun and more accessible to average people. And Detroit Soup, many of you have probably heard of Detroit Soup, we're about to announce a grant to them to help them kind of expand across the city. The message here really, there's so much to talk about, but the thing that I want to leave you guys with is, you've heard about this notion of dreaming in Detroit and making a difference in Detroit, but in my experience here, coming here, making that decision a couple of years ago, as a lot of you are facing, I found Detroit to be a center of ambition, a center of innovation across sectors, and I can't wait to talk to many of you guys afterwards. Thanks.